Hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of the Veterans Corner. My name is Chuck Wooden, and I'll be your host. I'm joined by Megan Dooley, who's the co-host today.
Hi there.
Megan, we had a very interesting first segment with this organization.
We did. We learned an incredible amount of what the Elks as an organization do nationally. But what's exciting now is we get to learn what the Elks do here.
At the local level.
Yeah.
At the
You're reading my
lodges.
mind, Chuck.
That's never mind. Got to have a little bit of fun here. They do an awful lot, and as the viewers found out in the first segment, what we'll do is we'll give a quick recap. The first segment we talked about what the Elks do at the national level, which trickles down to the local levels, but most people are not aware. And just like the other organizations, some of the organizations we've had here, like Easter Seals, and I could mention a whole slew of them. The viewers are going to get another education today on what. Now, this is what goes on at the Torrington Elks here in Torrington, Connecticut. But this is pretty much mirrors of what goes on at most, if not all, Elks lodges throughout the country. So this isn't really specific to Torrington as far as the services that are offered. There's a lot of big Elks lodges here in Connecticut and throughout the country, and they do a lot of these things. So this show is to bring awareness, to the public as far as what the Elks do.
Especially those who are looking for an Elks Lodge within their community.
Yeah. And know that it's not just a meeting place. The Elks Lodges do a lot of great things. With that being said, let's dive into this. To my right, we've got Dan Fisher. He is the leading knight at the Torrington Lodge, and the number of the Torrington Lodge is 372. Every lodge has a number. And then we have James, I always stumble, Weingart. I don't know why, and anybody that's been watching this show for a while knows that if anybody's going to stumble on a name, it's me. I always do it. I could stumble on my name. And sometimes I probably have. Jim's the secretary at 372. Tell us a little bit about yourself, like we did on the first segment.
Sure. I've been an Elks member for 37 years. I was a past Exalted Ruler. The Exalted Ruler is like the president of the club, so I was Exalted Ruler in 2016, 2017. I am currently the secretary, so I take care of all the membership roles, office duties, just about everything. So,
Dan.
Yes, as previously in the first episode, I've been a member for 8 years. I am now the leading knight, which is second in command, like the vice president would be.
Yep.
And my role is to assist our Exalted Ruler in the functions of the lodge. And in his or her absence, I would preside over the business aspects.
And in another month or so, you're moving up to the top position.
Yes, I don't like to assume, but yes, if I'm fortunate enough to be elected to that position, yes, I will be the Exalted Ruler, and it's something I'm very much looking forward to, and because I want to go dive into it deep first and really get the ball rolling and possibly even do more for the veterans.
You're here today.
To talk about. Yeah.
You're here today.
Let's talk about the first order of business with the Torrington Elks is that you have an Adopt a Vet program. Dan, tell me about that.
I'm not sure. I mean, the Adopt a Vet program, I know currently right now we're not doing it, but it's what it is in general is there's a lot of veterans that are in the VA hospitals, nursing homes, shelters that don't have family or anyone close. So what the program does is it's encouraging volunteers to adopt a vet. Now, a volunteer can adopt one vet, two vets. A lodge can adopt a whole floor, say, at a VA hospital, or the whole facility. And what it provides is social engagement, some positive reinforcement, companionship, friendship, and it leads to the volunteer learning more about the veteran and how they can actually help the veteran some more. So I like to think that without those engagements, those personal engagements, I feel that it affects a veteran's physical health or anyone's physical health. That's going. That's
Precisely.
lonely and things like that.
Especially
So
during
that-
the pandemic,
yeah.
we touched upon the fact that a lot of veterans were almost isolated because these programs were shut down. Visitors
Correct.
weren't allowed into to homes.
Yes.
So eventually, this program is going to come back, and that sounds very exciting because you're going to be establishing those connections again.
And and personally, I would love to find some members. I mean, they don't even have to be our members, but just to find some volunteers to actually participate in this from our local level.
It ties in with a lot of the shows that we've done. And what we try to do on this show is to tackle one of the big elephants in the room, that's mental health.
Exactly.
PTSD,
Right.
Suicide prevention. So, I mean, a program like that and that are similar, I mean, it helps that area out also.
Yeah.
The mental health area.
And getting back to it, I shouldn't say it hasn't happened in our lodge. It has in a different kind of way, not the formal way here, but like we have an Antlers youth program,
Yep.
and they adopt a military member or a veteran, and they collect things such as toiletries and things like that are needed. This past holiday season, they had a collection for a military member overseas. So they asked members to bring in the supplies that they were looking for, and also they did a Christmas card drive.
Oh,
So what happened was they gathered all these supplies that everyone felt a military member could use overseas, and along with shipping that, I don't know how many Christmas cards that members donated
Correct.
for the
And they
Antlers to
sent them
fill out and wishing everyone well and a Merry Christmas, and we actually got a letter back. I think Jimmy read it.
From one of the mothers, yeah.
Yeah, from a mother of the servicemen
Overseas.
oh wow! What did it?
expressing their gratitude and things
And that it
like
meant
that.
so much to them to
Yeah.
receive something from us.
It's amazing how a program, when you start it, you're putting it out there, but it's until you get that physical piece of evidence of what kind of impact it has.
Correct. Yeah. When someone sends you a letter like that, thanking you, that you feel okay. It reached out. It worked.
It warms your heart.
Yes.
At least it does mine. And
Agreed.
I can
it
tell
makes
you
me
as
proud to
as
be
a
an elk.
veteran, it's when you're deployed, maybe on in country or in the Navy. You're out there. It's nice to hear from back home. It's nice to hear that you're appreciated.
Right. Especially from someone not family, somebody else reaching out to you. And
Exactly.
That
Yeah, so
somebody
when-
else was thinking about you.
Correct.
Yeah. So
And that's what a lot of the times, we're going off a little bit here, but Veterans Day. A lot of the schools put on events for veterans. They're invited, guests of honor, you sit up front. And it just, no matter what age the veteran, it feels good.
well, I think it's important that the youth know what the veterans stand for
That's
and what
that's
they've gone through and
Good education.
how
It
we
is
should honor
education.
It
them.
is.
Yeah, because it's something that children are not, they have to be exposed to it.
Yeah.
But also they need to learn the stories, and that gives them that deep appreciation, especially when they learn young that the bravery that these people had to leave their home behind and to serve the nation, and then also having the compassion that when they come back, some of them, they come back, there's something different about them because of what they've seen or what they endured.
Exactly.
And that is why it's important to educate these kids and these children, and also young teenagers going all the way up, is that understanding of basic human human compassion. And that's what keeps clubs like yours going, the Elks Club, with the interest in joining and volunteering.
Right.
And we talked about the programs of adopting a vet where you're sending them out, but let's talk about bringing the veterans into the lodge. Do you invite them to your functions?
We do, and unfortunately, the past 2 years, we haven't been able to due to COVID, so we haven't brought them. But this year, 2023, Dan Gier as Exalted Ruler, we plan on getting back to that. We've always invited the veterans up for Memorial Day Parade in Torrington. We bring them up, we give them hamburgers and hot dogs, we feed them, see the parade. As I touched on in our first episode, we have a pond facility. We've done concerts up there. We've also invited vets up there. And same thing, we feed them and make sure they have a good time. And hopefully we will get back to that this year now that hopefully COVID is quieting down a bit.
We can only keep our fingers crossed, and we did in the first segment. We talked a little bit about how you guys blasted Chuck out of bed early for your pond stocking. So please, let's entertain the...
Well, that was a semi-early event.
Semi-early?
It was, about 11 o'clock. I don't know why people got out of bed that early, but...
11 o'clock is early for you?
I was kidding.
No, I believe it.
Okay, we are renaming the show from the Veterans Corner to the Roast Chuck Wooden Show.
Well, it's... when's it getting up tomorrow? But no, this year, I know we're since you brought it up, I am going to try to get there for the fish. I have to now.
Right, now,
Thanks,
now that
Megan.
you've been shamed.
You're welcome.
But to let the viewers know what we're talking about is the first Sunday in May, we have a fishing derby at our pond facility. And the Thursday before that Sunday, we have a hatchery come in and they stock our pond. And I believe that's what you were there for, right,
Yes.
Chuck? You were there for the
I was
stocking.
actually taking pictures.
Very nice.
Trout?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. And it's for the kids.
It's for the kids, and it's a fundraiser.
Bucket brigade. The kids were, going to the truck back and forth.
We
to the
invite
water.
the kids to come stock. A lot of the members head up there and help as well.
Correct.
And, it's a fun event.
Obviously November is a big month for veterans, with Veterans Day being on the 11th. What does the lodge do to help honor the veterans on that particular day or that month period? I mean, I know there's events at the Green, right?
Correct. At Go Park.
And
That
I
we
think-
attend.
I think at one time you had said that heavily involved with the VA, or were involved somewhat with the VA.
Right. We would, like I said, we were at one point pre-COVID
Yeah.
with Rocky Hill, and we've kind of let those ties lapse the past 2 years. So we hope to get back to it this year. Dan has plans this year to run more veterans organizations, have them up more, invite them up at least every 3 months.
Yeah, my goal is to have something once a quarter. I think it's well deserved, and
We can
since
talk
we
about
haven't
that
done
later
it.
because I do have connections up with the VA with numbers.
Sure, great. I'd love to talk to you about that.
The Green, what was the ceremony at the Green?
Actually, there's several that we attend, and we have a veterans liaison, Dan Farley, that he attends all these functions for us and representing us. But they have things for Pearl Harbor Day, of course. Memorial Day is the big one. Veterans Day. I think they even did like VE Day and VJ Day. So they do a lot of functions over there.
And we have a wreath. One of our members made a wreath, a memorial wreath, and we're over there with the other organizations, and they have a wreath laying ceremony. On Memorial Day. Yeah. And I believe Veterans Day too.
Oh yeah.
Dan Farley came and took the wreath.
Veterans Day is a big.
It's great
from
to
our
have
lodge.
the organization represented out in the public.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, you said about the month of November, that's our fall craft fair. And as I said earlier in the first episode, some proceeds from that are donated to a veteran organization. So it could be ECAT again, or, we might find another veteran organization where it's better suited for
So
at that time.
We should explain what ECAD is again for.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry,
If you haven't
yes.
seen the first segment.
ECAD is a organization that trains dogs. It's educating canines assisting with disabilities, and they have a veterans program to train trained dogs, and it's called Project Heal. And they actually train the dogs to assist with veterans that have disabilities. Now, I didn't say in the first episode, but the veteran actually has to go through an application process, spend time with the dog, and interact. And it takes, I don't know, I think at least 9 months to train these dogs, and up to $50,000 per dog.
Yeah.
Per dog.
Per dog.
That's
So, yeah,
So,
it's,
I mean,
considerable.
In the first episode, I said we donated $2,500. That's just, a starting point for, training those dogs.
well, it's a starting point.
It is, and they were most appreciative. And I know this past craft fair, proceeds from that are going to be donated as well to ECAD.
Hopefully,
So-
shows like this and just other maybe public media, social media events, we can educate the public even more so, and maybe raise that money, raise the number, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to give more,
Yeah.
to raise more money for ECAD, because especially after learning how much it costs per dog.
It's a lot. It's a
It
lot.
is.
I mean, I know just the canine units for
Yeah.
law enforcement. I mean, it's
Right.
an enormous amount. Fidelco.
Fidelco.
I will say, and I found it self-satisfying, or that when we found out about ECAD, one of our antlers actually volunteers up there, helping training.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
so, I mean, it's just another way for the Elks to get involved.
Well, and for the viewers that weren't listening earlier, or the first episode, Antlers is a youth group from the Elks.
Correct.
Yes, for ages 12 through 20.
Yeah.
And it's a youth group. They assist in a lot of the lodge events that we have, not just the veterans. I'm sure they help out with the fishing derby. And,
Both they do.
and Memorial Day, they march with us in Memorial Day. They carry the banner.
Nice.
They do collections for other organizations and the veterans. And they're involved. Oh, they serve with Christmas Village. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But,
What is the Christmas Village?
Christmas Village is in Torrington. It was established 75 years ago
There you go,
by Carl Bazinski. He had a vision of a little North Pole, I guess, for lack of a better description. And it just evolved. And if you haven't been to Christmas Village, you really have to
need to
go.
go.
You'll be a kid again.
Is it all year round, or is it
No,
only around the
it's
holidays?
usually
The weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, like this year it was December
Christmas.
9th through Christmas Eve.
Oh, gorgeous. That is definitely going to be putting on my calendar.
And we had the honor of hosting the 75th year of this year they're calling it the annual appeal. They used to call it the toy drive.
Yeah.
And we were able to donate to them $10,000 to help them buy toys.
Wow.
Because every child that goes through that Christmas Village and sees Santa gets a toy.
And it must be so nice seeing those memories made and being
Yes.
a part of them.
Yep.
It is.
And they have a hot chocolate booth, free hot chocolate. It's all donated.
Oh, I'm sold.
Yeah, and that's what our antlers do.
I was saying, that's our antlers right
They man
now.
the hot chocolate booth.
Correct.
For 1 or 2 nights.
And I would like to talk about another program that we touched upon, but we really didn't dive into it, the craft fair. You say you put on 2 annual craft fairs, and you mentioned one program that the craft fair benefits. So Dan, Jim, tell me about what is the inspiration behind the craft fair? How do you run it, and where does the money go that you collect from it or earn from it?
Go ahead. You're
Well, actually, the craft fair was the brainstorm of another member, and she brought it up at our house committee meeting. Because if any member has an idea or whatever, we have House committee meetings, twice, 2 Tuesdays a month, the first and third Tuesday. So she brought this idea to us. We said, roll with it. And it's evolved, and I think it's fairly new. I think we've done 3 of them.
Wow.
And then we leave it at the discretion of the craft fair chair, which happens to be this member, to figure out where she wants to send the funds. And she has chosen the veterans organization. But that could change. But right now it's for veterans.
And when is the next craft fair?
It will
Be in April.
April?
Yeah.
April?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometime
they
in
usually do it
April.
April and November.
Yeah, one in the spring, one in the fall.
Correct.
And that is the lovely thing about having your website flashing underneath the screen. For those who are interested, it's available for them to click on if they choose.
Correct.
And
More information, it's all there. We've only got a little bit of time left. I want to touch on one of the things we were talking about was homelessness. Obviously, it's a big problem among veterans in Torrington and every other city, actually every community in the country, not just in this area. How does the Torrington Elks help with this ongoing problem?
That's a very good question. We deal a lot with the Torrington Veterans Group, and we donate money towards them, just to help to get these guys, places to stay at night. We have the Wednesday night knitters group, which is very interesting because these women get together and they make hats for the homeless. They make gloves, Afghans. They do a really great job.
Yeah, it's that problem. It just, no matter how many times you throw something good at it, it's just always pops up.
Yes.
And not just for the veterans, but all the homeless population as a whole.
And it seems to be getting worse, not better.
Economy.
But every program that goes into focusing on alleviating and bringing comfort, it does make a difference. Even though you might think how small of an impact it is, for the person who you helped, gave that hat to, those warm gloves to, you might have changed.
It means the world.
It means the world to them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It means the world.
And you also have, I know we have only a few minutes left, but I know in the first episode we did talk about Flag Day, and I would like to talk about that before our show comes to a close, because Flag Day, it's widely celebrated. And fun trivia fact, it's the Elks, not just these guys, but it's the Elks as a whole who started Flag Day. What was the date when you guys started it?
1907.
1907. So,
And was later adopted by the U.S. Congress as an official observance.
it's a Jeopardy question. I swear, keep it in the back of your mind. But let's talk about it on a local level. How do you celebrate Flag Day at the Elks Torrington Lodge?
Flag Day, we have every flag starting from with the Don't Tread on Me flag during the Revolutionary War, and every flag up to our current flag. So we have a whole ceremony, and you really should see one of these ceremonies. And we're not the only ones that do it. Every Elks club does it.
Yes.
So they'll bring out the first flag, and they'll say where this flag, was, and what battle was fought, and it goes through, I think, 7 or 8 flags, and it's a very, very interesting ceremony. It's very historic, and you learn a lot.
And in the past, we've invited veterans to attend.
Yes,
We've invited
invite the mayor, local congressperson.
the public, and also the honor guard.
Yeah, there's usually a guest speaker at a lot of them.
Yep. And on the other end of it too, we also retire flags. So if you have an old worn out flag, you can bring it to our lodge. We actually have a mailbox outside our lodge that's red, white, and blue, and you can put your old flag in there. And come the first Sunday in November, we retire them with dignity.
Well, it's I tell you, once again, the show goes by fast.
It does.
Sure does.
Before I turn it over, I just want to say thanks again.
Thank you for the opportunity.
We definitely
so
want
much.
you back again. Maybe maybe we can fit Dan here too, Farley, or just the two of you.
be great.
Come back, give us an update.
Yeah, there's so much more to talk about because this is we're scratching the surface of what the Elks Lodge does
Absolutely.
here in Torrington.
Absolutely.
And Dan, Jim, thank you so much for coming to the Veterans Corner. Where can people find you?
They can find us on torringtonelks.com.
Well, thank you for visiting the Veterans Corner. I'm your co-host, Megan Stone. Chuck Wooden is our host. And if you would like to catch up on the episode, we also are now in podcast form. So you could take us on your morning commute so you can hear all about what the Elks Lodge of Torrington does, catch up with Dan, catch up with Jim. But that's all we have for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. And from the Veterans Corner, good night.
The water's warm at Jaws Pond, and we're stocked full of treasures. Big or small, we buy it all. We buy and sell fast rides, power tools, vintage guitars, and so much more. Walk the plank in style with our fine jewelry, diamonds, and watches. Plus, we have a huge selection of the latest video games, including the new PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Jaws Pond, conveniently located on Meriden-Waterbury Turnpike in Southington and West Main Street in New Britain.